Hello my friends, welcome to our Math channel. Today we are going to talk about a most important topic that is nothing but the derivatives. You may have already heard about the derivatives in a different manner. For example, you can already heard this word as differentiation. Differentiation is nothing but the method of doing or method of finding the derivatives. So both of them are same. These two things are required. Sometimes these things were referred to as calculus with in addition to the integration. So let's see what we are going to talk about in this concept. So we are going to learn the concepts of derivatives and the related concepts and some basic concepts that are required to know what is derivative and the most important real life problems, because most of the real life problems around us were solved or get functioning due to derivatives. So let's talk about it. First of all, introduce this derivatives chapter using a problem. So let us consider a xy graph in a two-dimensional plane and a line passing through a origin. Say this makes an angle theta with the horizontal axis in anti-clockwise direction. Let's choose 2 points x1 y1 and x2 y2. If we join these 2 points with making a right angle, then we get a two parallel lines, over here one and over here another one. So then if these two are parallel, then these two make an angle same theta. If this make angle theta, then this also makes angle theta. So from these points, and these look like somewhat like a right angle triangle. So if it is a right angle triangle, then this distance is nothing but this is x delta x and this distance is delta y. This is very simple. And the delta y or delta x is nothing but, the delta is a Greek word which means change in. So delta x is equal to x2 minus x1 and delta y is equal to y2 minus y1. So we know that. Okay, this is a very most fundamental thing that we all already know this thing in our lower classes. That is nothing but the equation of the straight line, or the straight line is given by the equation y is equal to f of x equal to mx plus c, where m is the slope, x is the x-intercept and y is the y-intercept, and c is the intercept, y-intercept. The y-intercept is nothing but, over here we have, if the line cuts the y-axis at some particular point over here, say, then that is said to be the y-intercept. Over here we have y-intercept as 0, so we can neglect this as 0. So this is a special condition of this line. So we have y is equal to mx. Okay, what is slope over here? We have denoted this as m over here, but if you don't know about it, just don't worry, I will explain it over here. The slope of a straight line is given by m is equal to tan theta. So tan theta, okay, this theta, over here we have theta. This theta is nothing but the angle made by the line with respect to the horizontal axis in an anti-clockwise direction. Okay, we all know that tan theta is equal to opposite side or adjacent side, which is equal to, okay, first of all, let me explain the opposite side and adjacent side. The opposite side is nothing but the side that is opposite to the theta that we measured. If we measure the theta over here, then this will be the opposite side, but over here we have mentioned the measuring the theta over here, so the opposite side would be the delta x. So the opposite side is delta x. And the adjacent side is nothing but the side adjacent to the opposite side, that is making the right angle with the opposite side. That is nothing but this line is making right angle, or this is perpendicular to the opposite side, so this is meant by the adjacent side. So adjacent side is delta x. So this is clear. Okay, if you want to know why tan theta is equal to opposite side of adjacent side, it's very simple. It's a very basic formula in the trigonometry. If you already know about the trigonometry in a very basic level, then you will hear of these many other terms too: sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, cosecant, etc. So we are not talking about the trigonometric concept, so we are living with this basic thing: tan theta is equal to opposite side upon adjacent side. over here, which is equal to delta y upon delta x. Okay, we can equate this because we have tan theta, is equal to delta y upon delta x, and m is equal to tan theta. So if we equate this, we get m is equal to del y upon del x. This is very simple thing. Okay, now let's move on to the thing. Okay. In the previous case, I have explained you with this straight line passing through the origin. So the equation f of x is equal to mx. But over here, I have provided you three different graphs. Each has its own functions. Over here a function, over here a function, and over here another function. And this is not a straight line. This is inverted parabola, this is inverted sigmoid shape, and this is a sigmoid shape. The parabola is nothing but this is the parabolic shape, like a U, and the inverted parabola is opposite to this. The sigmoid shape is nothing but it's like S shape, slightly S shape. So here this is S shape, so this is sigmoid shape. The inverted sigmoid shape is nothing but the inverse or the mirror image of the sigmoid shape. Over here this is the inverted sigmoid shape. Okay, this is not a straight line. So the slope, okay, I already told that the slope m is equal to tan theta. So we can't measure the theta for these graphs. We can't measure this for this graph, we can't measure for this graph, or even we can't measure for this graph. So what's the slope for this? Can we even use the general formula m is equal to x delta y upon delta x to find the slope for these graphs? The answer is yes, but it requires one more thing, because if we measure the theta over here, it may be some value, but if we measure theta over here, it changes. You can clearly observe that here the theta is very high, where here the theta is very low. Similarly, each and every point have its own theta, so each and every point have its own slope. So we need to find the slope as a variable, not as a constant. In the previous cases, that's a straight line passing through the origin, or even a straight line in a two-dimensional graph, we have a constant value as a slope. But over here, if we have a curves, we need to find the slope as a variable. So that's one of the most important thing. But if we use delta y upon delta x directly, then we can't get the variable value. We only get a constant value, but we require a variable value. So that's derivatives. So derivative is nothing but the slope of the graph. So derivative of an equation is given by the slope of the graph in x2 dimensional plane xy axis. So let's move on to the concept of derivative. First of all, let me tell you why the concept of derivative arises. The concept of derivative arises due to some problems arises in the 17th century. In the 17th century, logarithms, the natural logarithms and law that emerges its main fault. They have reached its very great development, but it doesn't explain some things. They are the tangent line problem. The tangent line problem is explained by the logarithms and this is the tangent line problem. The tangent line problem is nothing but the quest to find the tangent. The tangent is nothing but, for example, if we have a curved surface, the tangent line is nothing but it just touch the just touch that curve in one point. So that line is said to be the tangent of that curve. So over here we have a curve. We need to find the tangent, means, for example, if we need to find the tangent at this particular point, it may be like this, like this, like this. So we need to find, it's very difficult to find it. So this is one of the problem, and another problem is the velocity and acceleration problem. If you already studied physics, you are already familiarized with these velocity acceleration problems. These are very common and simpler problems in the physics or even science subjects. So that's why I didn't provide it over here, but they are very easy. If you want to see about the velocity acceleration problem, just simply Google it or even ask me in the comment box. I will do it in a separate video. Let's move on to the the tangent line problem. Okay, first of all, before moving into the tangent line problem, we have to know a secant line. A secant line is a line which passing through the curved line and cuts it in 2 points. The tangent line cuts it into 1 point, say over here, but the secant line cuts it in 2 points, one over here and another over here. And we have 2 points. The secant line cuts the curved graph in 2 points, while the tangent line cuts the curved point in a 1 point. Not cuts, hits or touches. Okay, say okay. The problem of finding the tangent line will turn us to the concept of finding the slope of the point at a particular point, because if you need to find this tangent line, it must be have some slope. So if we find the slope, we will get the correct what will be the correct tangent line for that point on the overall graph. So that's why we have using the derivative to solve this tangent line problem. So first of all, we have to approximate the tangent line into a secant line. Okay, if we choose this point over here one, okay, first of all just fix a point, say over here P, just fix this point P. The P is stationary, but the Q can be movable. So if we move this point to here, some distance will be reduces and it will be look like this over here. And if we reduce this point over here, it will somewhat like a it's similarly hit at 1 point. It look like it but it actually does not hit at 1 or 2 points. It's 2 points. So if we reduce the distance between them, we get more and more closer to 1 point. So if we increase the distance, if we reduce the distance to 0, then we get a very closer point, and that is the slope of that point. So let's choose as 2 point. P of x naught comma f of x naught be the point for the tangent 0. Okay, I have already mentioned as a stationary point. So say that be the tangent 0. That's nothing but we are going to find the tangent line at that particular point. And the another point, which is a variable point that may be moved by s, that's nothing but q, which is equal to q x naught plus delta x comma f of x naught plus delta x with the second point. So therefore the slope of the secant line through these points. Okay, first of all, if we find the slope of the secant line, we can easily find by reducing the value of delta x. For example, let's say it tends to 0. If it tends to 0, then we get exact value. If you already know about the limits and continuity, you are already familiar with everything. That's nothing but delta x tends to 0, delta y tends to 0, or something value tends to 0. That means if we are moving the value from somewhat value to 0 slightly, so then the slope is nothing but we have already seen the formula delta y upon delta x, which is nothing but y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Over here the slope is equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. On the secant line, the slope of the secant line, so the slope of the secant line is given by over here. Now here the delta y is nothing but f of x naught plus delta x minus f of x naught. So just plug in this value over here, and just plug in this value is nothing but delta x, not really just not delta x. We have x naught plus delta x minus x naught. So we can cancel this up, not require these things through. Okay, this is nothing but this is changing y, I'm changing it. This is I already mentioned this thing. And the slope of the secant line is main for given by simplifying this thing and get the slope of the secant line, that is m secant, is equal to f of x naught plus delta x minus f of x naught upon delta x, which is the slope of the secant line. So if we want to find the tangent line or the slope of the tangent line at this particular point P, then we need this delta x will move to 0, not equal to 0. We are moving this point to 0, so you can say delta x tends to 0 to find the derivative. Okay, that's okay. From this we can say the denominator delta x is the change in x, that is increment in x. So we need to reduce the x value, so we have to decrease it to 0. And the numerator delta y is the change in x, change in y. So this is enough for today. In my next video I will explain it a lot more, but it's like a basic one, because if I taught each and everything in the derivatives, it will length up to 5 hours, 10 hours, etc. it's impossible to understanding you. So that's enough for today. But just don't get out of this video. I also have a thing, there's nothing but, can you solve this problem? Square root of 2 raised to the power of square root of 2, which is raised to the power of square root of 2, which is once again raised to the power of square root of 2, and etc, etc, etc. This is moving to infinity. This is like a series. And what would be the value for this overall thing? What would be the value for this overall thing? Is it equal to infinity or anywhere else? Can you really do this thing? I'm not telling the answer in this video. I will do a separate video on this question, this particular question, separately. If you know the answer, or please try to solve this problem. If you got the answer, or if you already know that answer, just put in the comment box. I will display your name with your profile picture, what you have set is. I will provide it in our next video. I will promote you. Okay, don't forget to subscribe our channel. Please hit the like button. Please bell the bell icon to get updated notifications. And if you have any doubt, or if you need something new other than what I'm teaching, then please comment us. Okay.